what you said, Dang? Okay.
River, to start with you, this is a very personal story for you. This is something that I was reading was inspired by some of your childhood experiences, and you also obviously wrote the screenplay. A couple questions based on that. How did you formulate your own experiences to craft this story? And for secondly, what made you also want to star as well as write the project?
I think I exist a little bit in a dream state, in a dream world. And I always have since I was little, which is why I gravitate towards like filmmakers like David Lynch, who like write movies where the lines between reality and fantasy, surrealness is really like blurry. And I think a lot of that has to do with like personal trauma. I think there's a healthy dose of disassociation for survival that I've had to, incorporate into my being in order to deal with some really difficult things that I had to go through as a kid, particularly around being intersex and the medical experiences that I had to deal with. But I don't know. I think the film helped embody and give form to a lot of my own thoughts about myself and about just the human experience of becoming who you want to be and of not letting the things that are stopping you hold you back anymore. And I do think at the end of the day, the movie is about someone finding redemption and someone realizing that they're worthy, so much more worthy than they thought they were of achieving, acceptance of themselves.
Wow, very beautifully said. Obviously, this is a very personal story for you, and anyone you bring on to this project, there's a lot of trust that goes into that. Dylan, talking to you now with the character of Vinny, how did this project find you? How did this come across your desk, and what made you want to jump into it?
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly that. It did just kind of come across my desk. So I got to read it. We don't have to get into that. Never mind.
I know you.
Never mind.
I know what you're.
No, I know. I don't even know why.
My morbid curiosity is going crazy right now.
You were picking up on it.
And you know.
There's a thing called the pecking order of actors in this industry. Never mind. No, so I fortunately, yes, was lucky enough to receive this script and like read it for interest to, potentially take a meeting with River and Esteban and participate if all kind of mutually felt like that was the vibe. And I first reacted to the screenplay itself because I was like, this is one of the coolest things I've ever read. It's there's so many unique aspects to it, and yet it follows like such a like nostalgic old school kind of structure of this, like kind of 90s-esque crime thriller, neo-noir. I love the set and setting of like North Jersey, early 2000s, Y2K, like that threw a lot of humor into it for me. That was really well infused, I thought. And I just understood the voice, the language, I guess, and then in terms of the specific character, I really loved that it was, I don't know, that I was even given a chance to be this guy, because it's not something I think ordinarily people would believe in me for, Why'd you shake your head? You shake
because
your
it's
head?
so different from characters I've seen you play before. It's refreshing to see you. Like that was my next question, honestly, was the different nuances you brought, when it came to the physicality, just the little mannerisms, how Vinny approaches conversation with Angel versus with Ponyboi. Like I found like you lost yourself in this role.
No doubt. Yeah, thanks. And I mean, listen, like as an actor, so much of what your sort of like range and ability comes down to opportunity. So, it's really tough. It's really tough to kind of, I don't know, to have this, I don't want to call it a double-edged sword, but like sometimes things that you have like succeed in a space, it can be obviously, it is a fantastic thing, but sometimes it can also paint you a certain way for people and not afford you consistently different opportunities. You know what I mean? You might be given sort of the same thing or always thought of for the same thing. So I thought it was so cool that they thought of me for this, you know, River and Esteban, like trusting me and believing in me for this role. I like, as soon as I consumed it, I really understood the language of it and I kind of knew I had it in me, but like you got to show people what you've got going on in here and how you see something. And that takes trust. That takes trust though. You know, I don't know. It's just like it felt right. I think when we hit the ground running, even just from the first Zoom, you know, and I mean, River and I are the same age and we're both from North Jersey and like there's just a connectivity there. Like, you know, it just felt right out of the gate and it felt safe and trusting and like it was going to be a really, you know, artful and collaborative venture, you know, which is everything that you look for, basically.
Yeah. I want to emphasize that head shake is a compliment because like I said, I
I know. I know. I was screwing with you.
I just want to make sure. River, to talk with you specifically about the character of Ponyboi, like I said at the top, you obviously poured a lot of your heart and soul into this screenplay and drawing from your own experiences. Where does River end and where does Ponyboi begin? Where is that line?
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
No one's ever asked that before.
That's a big one.
I would say it's very emotionally autobiographical. I think Ponyboi is like really kind of a meditation in how I've perceived myself worthy and unworthy of love at different points of my life. Um, I mean, in many ways, Ponyboi feels like if I let all my vices just fly and decided to like not give a shit about my life, I would probably be living under a laundromat in New Jersey with you know, a meth dealing pimp. But I've decided to make better choices than that. And no, but seriously, Ponyboi has become like sort of an avatar for me to really investigate certain parts of myself. And it's sustained and nourished me as an artist in ways that, you know, you in an industry where it's hard for people like me who are trans, non-binary, intersex to have any role and footing in a movie, like creating a role in which I could, you know, thoughtfully and with a lot of fucking like bravery, like, you know, it was a really hard role that I wrote for myself and one that I was so thrilled to do because it encompassed such a broad spectrum for an actor. Like, I mean, there's like action in it. There's like there's the drama, there's like the comedic bits, and I don't know. In many ways, like, yeah, I am Ponyboi. Like, there's not really much separation other than, you know, those details of like, yeah, not doing math.
Yeah, I would hope that's at least one difference in the characters. Before we get out of here, guys, Dylan, I grew up on your work, man. It's really cool to get to talk to you today. I'm a huge fan of just like young adult books as a whole. And when they made the Maze Runner movies, I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. There's a reboot on the way. That's what they're saying over at 20th Century and Disney. But it's
Maze?
like, yeah, it's like a continuation, but with a different cast and all that.
What?
Am I breaking this news to you?
Don't even get a call, let alone a check. No.
But well, I guess that's your raw reaction. I was going to ask
What do you mean a continuation? Like,
they basically said that they don't want it to be a full-on reboot, but like a new story with a new group of people. So I don't know if Thomas factors in, but there's more Thomas books. There's more there's a couple more books that Thomas is in the Maze Runner you know, written series.
isn't this fascinating? It's fascinating.
It's my job to be an encyclopedia and like all things news. So
Oh, I appreciate you letting me know. I'm going to come to you for more things.
well, I guess, you know, I would love to ask, like, are you interested in telling more stories with Thomas, or do you think that ship has sailed?
it doesn't seem like they're interested in having me because I haven't heard about it.
Well, I think this interview will hopefully
Seems like they're interested in capitalizing off of the success for the thing that we built and not even acknowledging or, giving us any slice of the pie. But hey, that's how it goes, baby. No, I'm like, this is genuinely the first time I'm hearing about it. I had once thought there was like a prequel or something that was happening, but I don't know.
There's a book that's set 13 years before the Death Cure.
I mean, listen, those movies are, I would answer it, in such a way, the show Teen Wolf is very similar for me as well. These are very like fundamentally, like these were informative experiences for me in this industry. And these were like massive experiences for me as like a young adult and an adult and into my adulthood and a person. And I learned so much from these hours on these sets, and so yeah, I mean, these will always be things that I hold dearly with me. But as far as these new iterations of them, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a whole different chapter, and I guess I would tackle it if it were brought to me. But Liam, you're the only one who's brought it to me so far.
When we publish this interview, you might get a call from your agent. Who knows?
Yeah. I love this. I see. I love the strategy. We're working together here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you work at the end of the day. No, for real, guys, though, first off, thank you for answering that question for me. And also thank you guys for making a very inspired film. I know that this has been a long time coming. You guys shot it like 3 years ago. It did the festival circuit. Now wider audiences are going to get to see it. And it's an important story to tell. So thank you both for pouring your heart and soul into it.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate that. Very much. Thanks, Liam.
I want to get to know you. I like that you're different.